Now, the theory that dinosaurs were wiped out by a huge asteroid colliding with Earth over 66 million years ago could soon be proved. For the first time, scientists may have found direct evidence of a dinosaur that died in the immediate aftermath.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Look at that. Look, the scales are preserved.
12,000 years ago, the steppe bison wandered vast plains, now a long-lost era. Nowadays, as the ice thaws, hidden layers of the Earth are exposed, uncovering secrets from deep below. Scientists exploring these layers encounter a strong odor of decay, signaling ancient life forms long buried.
Santa and I spent 7 years of our lives scuba diving all around the world.
What if these discoveries are not just remnants of life long gone, but evidence of dinosaurs living alongside early humans?
Two sets of dinosaur fossils from the Jurassic period have been discovered in southwest China's Yunnan province. They are believed to date back more than 180 million years ago.
As we uncover this, brace yourself. What lies beneath might not only rewrite history, but could challenge our understanding of the ancient world. A prehistoric partnership. We usually think we know history from the stories left behind by historians. But imagine if humans and dinosaurs once walked the Earth together. It sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, right? However, recent discoveries are making some people rethink this idea. They are beginning to wonder if our distant ancestors might have shared their world with these giant creatures after all. What we uncover next could shatter our understanding of the ancient timeline forever. One of the most fascinating discoveries is the collection of Ica stones found in Peru. These stones were first discovered by Javier Cabrera, a local farmer, and they have detailed carvings showing dinosaurs and humans interacting with each other. The carvings are so precise and detailed that some scientists believe they could be genuine, while others argue they might just be clever modern-day creations. The debate rages on, but the possibility of these stones being real challenges everything we thought we knew about our prehistoric past. But this isn't the only surprise. The Ica stones are scattered across Peru, and they depict scenes that seem to turn our understanding of history upside down. They show humans and dinosaurs living side by side, going about daily life, hunting, and even taking care of their families. These stones, now numbering in the hundreds, paint a picture that seems almost impossible. Could it be that humans once walked among dinosaurs? But the mystery deepens even further. In 1944, in a small town in Mexico, a man named Waldemar Julsrud stumbled upon a collection of clay statues now known as the Acambaro figurines. These statues also show humans and dinosaurs together, much like the Ica stones. Some people think these are also fake, created to fool us, while others wonder if they might be evidence of something even more mind-boggling, like visitors from another time or place who left behind clues to their knowledge of ancient life. So what's the big deal with these artifacts? If they turn out to be real, they could completely change our understanding of history. We would have to rethink not only when humans lived, but also what they knew and how advanced they might have been. The thought that ancient people could have had such knowledge and artistic skills is enough to make anyone pause and think. In the middle of Cambodia's Ta Prohm Temple, visitors often come across ancient carvings that show different animals alongside humans. But one carving catches everyone's eye. It looks a lot like a Stegosaurus, a dinosaur that was believed to have died out millions of years before humans ever appeared. This particular carving, set into the temple walls surrounded by thick jungle, has sparked a lot of conversation and curiosity. People wonder how the artists who made these carvings could have known about a dinosaur that supposedly lived long before humans. Could they have created this artwork based on old fossil findings? Or is it just a coincidence that this carving looks like a dinosaur we know today? Some people think it's just a strange mistake, a chance resemblance that happened to match our modern-day understanding of prehistoric animals. But others see it as a reason to question our timelines of when humans and dinosaurs actually lived. Over in North America, there is another puzzling discovery. The Paluxy River tracks in Texas.
Following the footprints in Texas, Marcus Moore on the dinosaurs. Tonight, a historic drought revealing the astonishing steps.
These tracks are found in dried riverbeds and seem to show human and dinosaur footprints side by side. This has led to heated debates among scientists and history fans. To some, these tracks are proof that humans and dinosaurs once lived together in the same world. But others argue that the tracks are not what they seem. They might be misunderstood or even fake, created to stir up controversy. Yet, these tracks still draw a lot of attention. They give a fascinating glimpse into a possible ancient world very different from what science currently tells us. If humans and dinosaurs did walk the Earth at the same time, it would change everything we know about history and challenge the timelines set by paleontologists. But this isn't the only mystery. Fossilized human footprints have been found in different parts of the world, like the famous Laetoli footprints in Tanzania. These footprints, preserved in volcanic ash, are about 3.5 million years old. They are believed to have been left by Australopithecus afarensis, an early ancestor of humans. These footprints give us valuable clues about how our ancient relatives walked and lived, providing a tiny window into a time so far back it's almost impossible to imagine. In another part of the world, in Utah's Canyonlands National Park, there is an area called Kachina Bridge. Here, ancient people known as the ancestral Puebloans carved petroglyphs, images and symbols, into the rock. These carvings show many different figures and signs that reflect their daily life, culture, and beliefs. Among these carvings, some appear to show creatures with long necks and curved tails, which look a lot like dinosaurs. This has sparked curiosity and debate. Did these ancient people really see dinosaurs? Or were they inspired by fossils they found? Or could these carvings simply be a form of artistic or spiritual expression, a way for them to interpret their world? But this wasn't the most confusing part. Each of these discoveries, from the carvings in Taprom to the footprints in Texas and Tanzania, makes us question what we think we know about history. They suggest a past where the lines between science and imagination blur, where the stories told by ancient carvings and footprints might change what we know about Earth's history. Let's dig deeper into more carvings and what they could mean. Petroglyphs and prehistory. All around the world, ancient carvings on rocks known as petroglyphs show images of huge lizard-like creatures. These images make us wonder, could some dinosaurs have survived long enough to be seen by early humans? In Algeria, in the Tassilitan Ager cave complex, there are rock paintings that show large reptile-like figures. Some people believe these look like dinosaurs, but most experts think they are symbols or mythical creatures rather than real dinosaurs. The idea that dragons from old stories could be inspired by dinosaurs is an interesting one. Dragons in myths often have features similar to dinosaurs, like large, scaly bodies, and sometimes even wings. This similarity makes some people wonder if ancient humans found dinosaur fossils and imagined they were dragons, adding these ideas into their legends and stories. For example, European dragons are often shown as huge, fire-breathing reptiles, while Asian dragons are longer and snake-like. Both types look a lot like how scientists think some dinosaurs looked. Another curious discovery comes from a place called Klerksdorp in South Africa. Here, strange metal spheres have been found buried deep in the ground, in layers of rock that are believed to be 3 billion years old. These spheres are made of a nickel-steel alloy and are polished, with neat grooves around them, as if they were carefully made by someone. The fact that they are found in such ancient rock layers raises big questions about what kind of technology might have existed back then. But this wasn't the most surprising part. In Montana, a new discovery has made scientists rethink when dinosaurs really died out. A horn from a triceratops, a dinosaur we think lived about 68 million years ago, was found and tested. The test showed that the horn was only about 33,500 years old. This is shocking because we have always believed that dinosaurs like the Triceratops went extinct 66 million years ago. This finding, along with other fossils from similar times, suggests that some dinosaurs might have lived much later than we thought. While some people think these results could be due to contamination, The methods used were very careful to avoid mistakes. In the ancient city of Kish, a place rich in history, a surprising discovery was made: a small copper ring that dates back to around 3,500 BC. What makes this ring so interesting is that it shows an animal called the Siam, a huge giraffe-like creature that was believed to have gone extinct over 1 million years ago. The Siam once roamed areas of the Indian subcontinent and Africa during the late Mesozoic to early Cenozoic eras. This little ring, with its detailed picture, suggests that this prehistoric creature might have lived alongside early Sumerian people. Adding more to this mystery, there are paintings in the Sahara Desert in central West India that also show animals that look like the Siam. These paintings come from a time known as the Dinosaur Ages, suggesting that the Siam might have survived until around 8,000 years ago. This would place them in the same period as early Mesopotamian civilizations, meaning they might have even crossed paths with ancient humans. If this is true, it could change everything we think we know about when different prehistoric creatures actually lived. Another interesting example from the past is the aurochs, a type of wild ox that is now extinct but was the direct ancestor of modern cattle. The aurochs was a massive creature with long, forward-curving horns and a strong, muscular body. They roamed across Europe, Asia, and North Africa, living during a time filled with large animals and early humans. Though they were not dinosaurs, the aurochs connects us to an ancient era that included early humans. They were important enough to be featured in cave paintings like those found in Lascaux, showing they played a significant role in the social and cultural lives of prehistoric people. But this wasn't the most surprising connection. The Barbary lion, native to North Africa, was another majestic creature that lived alongside humans. Known for its great size and powerful presence, the Barbary lion played an important role in the ancient world. Even though it was not a dinosaur, it was still a descendant from the age of the giants, a time filled with large prehistoric creatures. Sadly, the Barbary lion disappeared from the wild in the early 20th century due to overhunting and habitat loss. The last known wild Barbary lion was reportedly killed in 1922, though some continued to live in captivity. Their significant role in human history, combined with their impressive size, shows a deep connection to ancient times and a lineage that stretches back to the era of dinosaurs. In old religious texts, like the Bible, there are mentions of creatures such as the behemoth and tannin, which some believe could be references to dinosaurs or similar giant reptiles. Although the term dinosaur was not invented until the early 20th century, descriptions of the behemoth and the word tannin, which is sometimes translated as dragon or serpent, seem to describe creatures that could match what we now know about prehistoric reptiles. The tannin, mentioned in books like Genesis and Isaiah, often refers to mythical sea creatures or serpents, but the way they are described could fit the size and nature of the giant reptiles from prehistoric times. But these aren't the only surprising stories from the past. These ancient discoveries, from artifacts to old stories, add so much more to our understanding of history. They suggest that what we often think of as myths might actually have roots in reality. The fact that these legendary creatures have been woven into human culture for so long not only captures our imagination, but also makes us question what we know about the timeline of life on Earth. Now, let's look closer at ancient myths and what secrets they might hold about our past. The Leviathan legacy. In the ancient writings of the Bible, there is a creature called the Leviathan, which is often described as a powerful sea monster or dragon. This creature, mentioned in the books of Job, Psalms, and Isaiah, is said to have a body covered with something like scales and a mouth that could breathe fire. Some people think that the idea of the Leviathan might have come from real creatures like the marine reptiles called ichthyosaurs or plesiosaurs, whose fossils might have been discovered by ancient people. While there isn't any solid proof directly linking the Leviathan to these sea creatures, the way it's described gives us an interesting look at how ancient civilizations might have imagined real prehistoric animals they found in the rocks. Another intriguing story comes from Marco Polo, a Venetian explorer who traveled in the 13th century. During his journey through the Gobi Desert, he wrote about a scary creature with a long, thin body like a worm, a head that looked like a crocodile, and a tail like a snake. This description sounds like a monstrous reptile, similar to some ancient depictions of dragons or dinosaurs. Although there's no definite proof that what Marco Polo saw was a dinosaur, his story adds to the fascinating idea of humans coming across animals from the distant past. Polo's tales combine adventure and mystery, which still makes people wonder about the connections between myths and real creatures. In Africa, the Dogon tribe from Mali is famous for their deep knowledge of the stars, especially the Sirius star system. What's surprising is that they knew details about this system long before modern science did. This has led some people to wonder if the Dogon might have had ancient knowledge passed down to them, perhaps even about dinosaurs. In their art and folklore, there are images of large reptilian creatures that remind us of dinosaurs. While most scientists don't believe the Dogon had a direct link to dinosaurs, these cultural stories add to the mystery and show how myths and history can be closely connected. But this isn't the only surprising link to the past. Another fascinating connection to ancient times is the dire wolf, a large predator that lived alongside early humans until about 9,500 years ago. Recent studies of their DNA have shown that even though they looked a lot like modern gray wolves, they were not actually closely related to them. In fact, their closest living relatives are more like African jackals. This discovery has changed what we thought about how these wolves evolved. Dire wolves were bigger and had stronger jaws than today's wolves, making them fearsome hunters. But they went extinct, likely because of changes in the climate, loss of large prey, and maybe even because humans hunted them. The woolly mammoth was a giant mammal that played a big role in the lives of early humans living in the icy areas of North America and Eurasia around 4,000 years ago. These enormous creatures were essential for the survival of people in those cold, harsh climates. Their meat was a key source of food, helping people to stay strong and healthy. But the mammoths offered much more than just meat. Their thick skins were turned into clothing and used to make shelters, protecting humans from the freezing cold. The bones and tusks of mammoths were used to create tools, weapons, and even beautiful artworks that showed the spiritual and social life of early cultures. Mammoths were not just a part of daily life. They were also seen as powerful and magical beings in ancient stories, showing a deep connection between these incredible animals and human civilization. Mastodons, which were ancient relatives of elephants, also had a huge impact on early human societies. Standing around 10 feet tall with curved tusks and a noticeable hump on their backs, mastodons were well suited to live in the ancient landscapes of North America. Evidence of their presence, like fossils and old cave paintings, shows that mastodons were also a big part of life for prehistoric people. Just like mammoths, they were important for survival and were woven into the cultural practices and beliefs of those times. Another fascinating creature from the past was the giant ground sloth. This massive animal could stand between 2 to 4 meters tall on its back legs and grow up to 20 meters long. Unlike the smaller sloths we know today, these giant sloths were strong climbers with sharp claws. They could dig huge tunnels called paleoburrows, which may have been used as shelters or places to raise their young. Fossils and rock art found throughout South America suggest that these sloths lived alongside other giant creatures like mammoths and were an important part of their environment. But this wasn't the end of the story. The thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger, once roamed across Australia, Tasmania, and New Guinea until the early 20th century. Even though it was called a tiger, the thylacine was actually a marsupial, not a big cat. Its body shape and stripes made it look a bit like a tiger, which is how it got its name. This nocturnal hunter fed on small animals, birds, and insects. Sadly, the thylacine went extinct because of hunting, loss of its natural habitat, and disease. The last known thylacine died in 1936. Today, it stands as a reminder of how easily wildlife can disappear and the need for strong conservation efforts. The Glyptodon was another prehistoric creature that looked like a giant armadillo and lived in South America during the Pleistocene period, between about 2 million and 10,000 years ago. With its thick, armor-like shell, made of large, bony plates, the Glyptodon was well protected from predators. Remains of Glyptodons have been found across South America, giving scientists valuable information about how they looked and the environments in which they lived. Then there was the saber-toothed cat, also known as Smilodon. These cats were fierce predators with long, sharp teeth and lived alongside early humans. They primarily hunted large plant-eating animals like the giant ground sloth. Early humans, who were skilled hunters themselves, sometimes found themselves competing with these big cats for food. Fossil evidence shows that humans and saber-toothed cats had interactions that were sometimes aggressive, but also may have involved learning from one another. But this wasn't the worst part for these ancient creatures. As the climate changed and human populations grew, many of these magnificent animals faced new challenges. From the woolly mammoths to the saber-toothed cats, they played crucial roles in their ecosystems and the lives of early humans. They helped shape how people hunted, gathered food, and even how they thought about the world and their place in it. But did humans play a more direct role in the extinction of these ancient creatures than we think? Comment and subscribe for more thought-provoking content, and join the discussion.